Weak thoughts create a weak life. If you're tired of second guessing yourself and backing down under pressure or folding when things get tough, it's time to destroy that pattern now. Mental toughness isn't just for athletes, it's not for warriors, it's the foundation for every strong and successful man today. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you the blueprint of how you can destroy weak thinking and build your mental toughness. Hey guys, it's Brendan, and in this video we're going to talk about some key points on how you can build mental toughness. Now, mental toughness isn't something you're born with or not. It's a skill. It's like a muscle that you build, mental toughness and mental strength. Some people have it, some people don't. It's because they've trained it. You've got to train your mental mindset more than you train your physical body or any other area of your life, and everything else will change from that. I honestly believe that your mindset is number one. That will give you the results or the results that you don't have in your life just purely by improving your mindset and building mental strength, mental toughness. And so the first thing we really need to do is control your inner dialogue. Now, I used to walk around in the mindset camps that I used to work in, and I have in the mess, and I have headphones in. And I was always running myself down. I was always expecting the worst for myself and everyone else around me. I thought, this person wouldn't like me, this person wouldn't talk to me, and I isolated myself. I'd finish work and I'd have my iPad and I'd listen to music on the bus so I didn't have to talk to anyone. And I was always just constantly running myself down by saying people wouldn't want to talk to me, and then I'd be like, well, I'm so antisocial, I can't talk to people, all I want to do is work out, and when I go there, I wonder what this person's thinking of me. And I was always expecting the worst, and it was just it was a downhill spiral. And so many people have that in their life. Now, it didn't matter how good I was training at the gym, it didn't matter how good I was in other areas of life, or at that time I didn't perceive many areas of my life were doing well, but I was just always expecting the worst, and my self-image of myself was very low, and you might be able to relate to that. And what I learned is your mind is either your worst enemy or it's your strongest ally. It's not both. Mental toughness and building this mental toughness starts with mastering your self-talk. It starts with mastering what you say to yourself. At the end of the day, you are the only person that you live with for your whole life. Think about that for a second. You're the only person that you speak with the whole time and you talk to. You're always talking to yourself. Right now, while you're watching this video, there's that little voice in the back of your head that may be agreeing with me or not agreeing with me, or saying that you've got something else to do or you should be doing something else. Whatever that little voice is saying, that's you. That's the inner dialogue. And it can be your worst enemy or it can be your strongest ally. It just depends how you treat yourself and how you treat yourself and what you say to yourself. So if you catch yourself saying, I can't, I'm tired, or maybe later, we need to rewrite that script. We need to improve the way that we talk to ourselves. And the biggest thing is just being really aware of it. One thing is writing those things down. When you think about something, what's those little subtle little voices that's in your head? You might be saying, oh, I want to do this, but then might be a little thing saying, yeah, but it's easier for anyone else. I'll never be able to do it. This person can do it, or there's too many other people doing it. Whatever it is, there's that little voice, and just write that little voice down. And those are all the limiting beliefs that will happen, and rewrite those little beliefs, and then your inner dialogue will change massively. The Buddha said the mind is everything. What you think, you become. So be very mindful of the words that you speak to yourself. Your words have power. They are spells. That's why you spell words, so they can do you harm or they can be your best ally. They can lift you up. So you've got to be your own cheerleader, essentially. And so there's another thing that I used to do is the mirror technique. So I would stand there in the mirror and I'd just stare at myself in the eyes, and I would tell myself, I'd be like, Brendan, and I still do that to this day, to be honest. But I'm talk to myself, because I command myself. I'm like, this is what we're going to do today. This is how good you are. You should be proud of yourself for this. And you've done these are your wins. And I've just given myself a big pep talk, because why not me? There can be other people that do it, but why not give yourself one? And then you learn to change the inner dialogue inside of your mind. So that's number one. And that leads me on to point number two. Embrace hard things daily. I stopped doing my daily tasks when I was with an ex-partner of mine. We went to the Gold Coast for her birthday one weekend, and this was very early on in the days. This was many years ago now. And I used to write, and I still do to this day, but back then I was like, my GCGs, what my goal is for the day, what I'm committed to, what's my gratitude for the day? And every day I'd write them. And we were staying at the Gold Coast for her birthday once, and I think she might have been in the shower, and I started writing them down. Anyway, she came out and she's like, "Dear diary," and kind of like had a bit of a go at me. And back then, I just kind of shut the book and I was like, and I didn't do that. And so then I started like skipping on those things that I used to do, and that kind of slipped into all areas of life. I started working out, not as hard, and I started probably drinking a bit too much. I started eating a bit too much, and I let myself slip. Like I was still doing quite well, but I let myself slip, especially to the standard I have now. And I know that that never happens anymore. It doesn't matter who I'm with, those things don't slip. I could be on holidays, I could be traveling, I could be doing anything, and those habits, I still do them every single day. And I realized that I let myself go in those moments, but I wasn't embracing the hard things. And what happened was my life started to go downhill. I always say if you do the hard things in life, your life will be easy. If you do the easy things in life, your life will be hard. And so I started doing the easy things. I was taking the easy option. I would sleep in, I would snooze the button and be like, "Oh, I won't go to the gym today. I'll do it later. I'll go later on in the day," or just won't go at all. And I was like, man, I let myself go so much. And that's why my life kind of went downhill a little bit. Nothing crazy, but I just realized. Whereas now, I challenge myself so much, and that's the lesson that I learned from when I reflect back on that is discomfort and sitting in that place that is super uncomfortable is a training ground. The men who are the toughest aren't lucky. They choose to challenge themselves on purpose. It's like, that's a challenge, I'm going into that. That's a challenge, I'm going into that. Cold showers, cold exposure, having tough, hardened conversations, having tough and hard conversations, the conversations we don't want to have with people, ones where we feel a bit awkward. The tough workouts, like I honestly believe like once a month at least, you should do some kind of workout that absolutely drains you. It's almost like you get nervous going into that workout. That builds so much mental strength. And you build the habit of doing what others avoid. I always say, success comes from doing what other people are not willing to do. Successful are always willing to do what others are not willing to do. So if we understand this, we can understand that the hard things are going to create the mental toughness and the mental strength that we need that will flow on to every single area of our life, because you build the muscle and it lasts for a while. And then also if you stop, if we use the muscle example, if you don't use the muscle for a while, but then, a year or two later you come back and you start training again, that muscle has muscle memory and it comes back fairly quickly again. So mental toughness is the same. Now, I'm not saying it's okay to necessarily go off track, because I think your results will show. And also understand that it can take about 90 days for it to change in our life. I always look back on my life and be like, okay, so what's happening in my life now is as a result of the last 90 days. What was going on for me 90 days ago? And so the work I'm doing today is an investment into 90 days in the future when I'll start be able to reap the harvest. So that's a good way to understand. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do these hard things, but I've got to give it 3 months. I've got to give it 90 days to really start seeing the results. Now, Eleanor Roosevelt said, do one thing every day that scares you. And I love that. Do one thing. What's that one thing that you've been avoiding? What's that one thing that's gonna make the biggest difference if you just lean into it and do that? No hesitation, just do that. Now, that's point number 2. And that leads me on to point number 3 here. Detach from emotion and then commit to action. I used to be so attached to eating. Like if you've watched some of these videos before, you would know that I struggled a fair bit with eating disorders. I'd binge 4 or 5 plates of food. I'd shove my fingers down my throat trying to starve myself. I'd make up with excessive workouts and trying to starve myself, quote unquote fasting. And it was just a big spiral, a big distraction. But it was attached to the emotion. Like I didn't eat all of that stuff because logically I wanted to. And it was because it was all attached to emotion. And then I'd try and, as I said, make up for it with all of the excessive workouts, with all the extra calories in the food, and that was all fueled by emotion as well. Sometimes I'd even go, you know what, I can have a cheat meal today. I'm gonna do 2 workouts today because I'm gonna have a cheat meal later on tonight. Or I'd do it the opposite, where I'd feel so guilty that I ate so much, and then I'd do a really hard workout either afterwards or a few hours afterwards or the next day, or multiple workouts the next day. And that was fueled by emotion too. So it was just like this big emotional circle that I was on. I was also working 12 to 14 hours a day to avoid the emotional feelings as well. So pretty much my whole life, my whole work situation, my whole exercise and food was just a big distraction from me sitting with the things that were underneath. It was like I was always had some kind of distraction on my mind, whether it be work, whether it be eating, whether it be working out, whatever those things might be. And some people might say, well, working out is a good thing. Then yeah, 100%. But if it's fueled by emotion, then it's maybe not. It's probably better to just commit to action and do the actions to make yourself feel better rather than coming from a place of emotion, trying to make up for something. And this led to going through this, and it was years that I was doing this. And it led to me burning out. The emotional roller coaster burnt my system. If you've been on the emotional roller coaster of high highs and low lows, that shit's tiring, going up and down like this. And so it burnt me out. And what I learned is people only burn out because they lack purpose. Mental toughness means showing up when you don't feel like it, not waiting for motivation. They rely on discipline. You would know how important discipline is. I talk about discipline all the time. Discipline is freedom. And the more discipline you have, you override the emotion. Your mission overrides your mood. Now we've got to have some kind of mission that we're heading towards as well. It's like now I know I'm on purpose with everything that I do. I don't burn out. I'm sleeping 4.5, 5 hours a night. I'm doing so much during the day, working out, working my mind, studying, training, coaching, doing calls, doing videos, everything. And it's all because I'm on purpose and I don't burn out. It's because I see where I'm going, and it's like each day I get more and more committed and more motivated and driven to go where I want to be. And it's because I've built that. Now, a lot of people don't have that, and so they're trying to do things and they're floating around and they're fueled by emotion. They let their emotions dictate them. So you have to really get clear on where you want to go and then commit to the action and detach from the emotion in those. Now, William Faulkner said, you can't swim for new horizons until you have the courage to lose the sight of shore, which is so true. It's like so many people, we want to go to this horizon. We chase this never-ending horizon. But if we stick to the safety of shore, we'll never get there. You have to be okay with losing sight of the shore, letting go of this to get to where you want to go. And so that is point number 3. And that leads me to point number 4, zero tolerance for excuses. I used to be so bad at this. I would say I was gonna do something for someone, but I made an excuse afterwards. I was always say like, I was gonna book this, but I was gonna buy you this, but I was gonna do this, but I was gonna plan this, but. And as I look back, I said it so much, like especially in past relationships and even to family, I was like, oh yeah, I was gonna do this, but, and then I make an excuse. And as soon as we say but, whatever it was before that just doesn't mean anything. And I realized that I had all these good ideas, and what it was actually stemming from was me wanting to make myself feel good and to, I suppose, gain approval from others without actually doing the task. Now, what I've learned is excuses are the language of weak men. Excuses are the language of the weak. They only sound good to the person making them up. I don't know if you've ever had someone try and give you an excuse and you're like, don't give me that. Like, you can just tell that it's an excuse. You can just tell that it's BS. But the people who are saying it, it sounds good to them. The more excuses you make, the worse your life's gonna be. It's plain and simple. If you wanna destroy the weak thinking and the lack of mental strength, stop giving yourself a way out. Call yourself out for it. Be more ruthless with yourself. Keep your word. Do what you say you were going to do, especially when it's inconvenient. That thing of letting yourself down by saying, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get up as soon as my alarm goes off, I'm gonna work out the next day, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna spend this much time working on myself or working towards a goal that I'm doing. So many people, we have all these things and it sounds good, but then when the time comes, we let ourselves down. We depreciate ourselves. We devalue ourselves, and then we wonder why we have a lack of self-worth or a lack of self-image. It's because we don't do the things we say we do, and we have the excuses. So we have to eradicate the excuses, say yes and do it anyway, even when you don't feel like it. Now, Don Wilder said, the excuses are the nails used to build a house of failure. So think about that. If every excuse that you do, you're just helping build that house of failure with putting more nails in that's gonna hold it all together. A house without nails or screws or whatever isn't gonna be very strong, but a house with them is what keeps it all up. So you're building that house of failure every time you make an excuse. Now, your life will only grow as strong as your mindset. So destroy the weak thinking. Build up your mind like it's a weapon. Your mind is the most powerful thing you have. Treat it like that. Live life like you're a man on a mission. Mental toughness isn't a trait. It's a choice that you get to make every single day. So never forget that. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Drop it down in the comments what your biggest takeaway was, light bulb or insight. There's lots of little bits and pieces in here, and hopefully you get something out of it. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If there's anything I can do, just let me know. Reach me on socials or put a comment down here. I'll help you in any way that I can, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. You made it to the end of the video, and you are one of the top 1%ers who get to this point. Now, if you're sick and tired of not growing to the level that you want, if you're sick and tired of being the same spot that you were 12 months ago, if you're like, you know what, I've got so much more to offer, but I don't really know how to get there, then if that is you, down below, book in your call with one of my team. Just enter your phone, enter your email, and enter your number. And hey, look, we can't reach you if you enter details that are wrong. So enter your right details. We'll be able to reach out to you. We'll show you the 4 stages that we take men through that's gonna completely rip you out of your current situation and push you in a new direction that where you want to go. I will push you as hard as I can to get that outcome for you, because I know how much the life is good on the other side of it when we get out of the shit, when we get onto where we want to go. So click the button and I'll see you on the other side.